la rata.
The initial stages of the response to this incident are giving way to the longer-term investigation and the safety policy work that we do. I'm here to work and was able to spend time with our personnel here at the derailment site, including our FRA.
Yes, me and Pete have similar haircut. Get it out of the
Federal
way.
Rail Administration, and PHMSA, the Pipeline and Hazardous Safety Material Administration, who are engaging with NTSB. Just to be very clear about this, FRA and PHMSA are part of the U.S. Department of Transportation.
El ratón.
NTSB is not. They're independent for very good reason. We respect their independence,
You really
but we
don't,
also...
though? I just, okay, maybe I saw it in the chat, and I'm just, you know.
work with them to make sure that we're responding to their findings and that we're supporting their fact-finding work. I was also able to spend time with a number of federal personnel, including EPA, FEMA, and others who have been doing phenomenal work from day one in order to make sure that this community is supported. That includes, again, not just the presence that our department had from the early hours of this situation, but the presence of public health personnel, environmental personnel, and emergency management response personnel. Spent time with not just federal folks, but state leaders, including Ohio Emergency Management, and local leaders from the county and from the community, council members, and the mayor. Had a good conversation with the mayor, who is clearly very focused on supporting this community and helping the community move forward. As well as other village staff, including the village manager, waterworks leader, and the fire chief. And I just have to say the resilience, the resolve, and the decency of this community as they have gone through both.
I feel like no matter what happens, like, I don't know. No matter what happens, like, this is a politician thing. It's not just like a Pete Buttigieg thing. It's not like a Democrat thing. It's not a Republican thing. They just can't come across genuine. And one thing that I guess Donald Trump can do very well is that he is genuinely disingenuous. So he still is able to, like, captivate people and make them feel like he's on their side. Whereas you never get that from Kamala. There's always like an arm's distance in all of her speeches. You never get that from Pete. Joe Biden actually, I think, does a decent job with this. Joe Biden is like an old school retail politician. So I feel like he does a very good job of like bringing you in when he talks to people directly. You know what I mean? Bernie Sanders is another person who obviously does a really good job with that too. Obama was a very good, skilled orator who was able to do that really well too. But like our new crop of Democratic Party politicians and the Republicans always are just so bad at it. Like they're just, you come onto this fucking site, you sound like a PR person, no matter what happens. You know what I mean? They feel like they're analyzing it from afar. Articulate? What do you mean? No, it's actually an element of like being too articulate, if anything. Like it comes across like very robotic, cold, calculated. Like it's just it's manicured. You know what I mean? It just reeks of like, I got media training and I'm saying I'm saying the right things here with the hopes that like you will hear the words and go, yeah, I agree, I understand that. It is very disconnected. So not only is that very prominent here, very ever present here, but once he stops talking about like the people that were there to help out and whatnot, and he starts talking about like the limitations he's had, you'll notice that he just starts flubbing too.
This disaster's immediate impacts and the swirl of national and international and political attention that's come their way, their decency and resolve has been inspiring.
Here, you want to know how fucking bad and how starving and desperate the National Democratic Party is for like a real human and not a robotic response to catastrophes? It made national news for like a week when Beto O'Rourke said, "Fuck this, I'm angry." Okay? And Beto O'Rourke is like also a goober, right? But like the one time where he was like, "Yo, fuck this shit," everyone was like, "Oh my God, like that's crazy. I can't believe he said that. He's so passionate. Like, oh my God, can you clap my ass cheeks, please, Beto O'Rourke? I want you to give me orgasms that make my calves cramp." That's a real thing that someone tweeted, by the way. Don't get mad at me. I'm
I also want to make sure to acknowledge something that happened yesterday. A plane crash took the lives of 5 people working for CTEH. That is a firm that is involved in this cleanup. I met with some of their personnel earlier today who are mourning the loss of their friends and colleagues.
I'm surprised.
Some of whom were.
I'm surprised conspiracies haven't been written about that. By the way, like about how that was an assassination or something. That they were going to uncover the real truth about how toxic the contamination was, or some shit like that. How have? Oh, there are. Oh, they are. Okay. I haven't seen any of it yet, but there's no fucking shot that they don't do that. You know what I mean? I know how TikTok is.
Were involved in this response as they were on their way to another one, and NTSB is involved in the immediate response to that crash. But my heart goes out to the people who are already in a very stressful situation here, and are now having this added pain and facing it in a way that again is inspiring and moving. I also spoke today with the chair of the NTSB, Jennifer Hamady. As you know,
the Clinton person got assassinated. Yeah, but that was an assassination. I'm pretty sure, bro. It was. Am I? No, that. Okay, listen. That one was suspicious. That one was suspicious. A Clinton aide with links to Jeffrey Epstein, who died by suicide last year, had no gun on the scene, according to the early reports of it. New York Post covered it, and then they were like, never mind, there actually was a gun on the scene. They found a shotgun 30 yards away. Mark Middleton, 59, who served in the Clinton White House in the 1990s, was found dead on Heifer Ranch in Perryville, Arkansas on May 2nd, 2022. Almost 1 year after Middleton's death, a police report obtained by the outlet this week revealed that the Little Rock businessman was discovered with a gunshot wound to the chest and an extension cord tying his neck to a tree. I could see the male was obviously deceased. Deputy Jeremy Lawson of Perry County Sheriff's Department wrote on his arrival at the grisly scene. Notably, Lawson's account includes that while officers located a gun case and 3 boxes of buckshot in Middleton's BMW SUV, there was no weapon in sight. Though the father of 2 worked for his family's HVAC business in the years before his death, by the way, let's take a moment here and just mention that come on. Come on now! He worked for his family's HVAC business. These fucking memes don't come from... These memes come from somewhere, motherfucker. You know what I'm saying? This is it. That's real. That's why I always make this joke. Anyway. He previously enjoyed a high-flying lifestyle as special advisor to Clinton and Assistant Chief of Staff Thomas F. McLarty. Middleton notably signed late pedophile Epstein into the White House 7 of the 17 times he visited the residence. He also reported to have flown on Epstein's infamous Lolita Express jet. Middleton left the White House in 1995. The following year, the Los Angeles Times reported his executive access was curtailed after an investigation determined he abused his connections in an effort to become an international deal maker. The release of the official report comes after Middleton's family, which includes his wife and 2 young adult daughters, petitioned a judge over concerns about the gory photos and videos of the scene being made public. In June 2022, the Arkansas Times reporter, Circuit Judge Alice Gray, determined that the visual content was to remain sealed. The report would be available under the Freedom of Information Act. In the months since his death, internet conspiracy theories had tried to tie Middleton to the Clinton body count, or the right-wing theory that Bill and Hillary had passels of their political opponents killed. Yeah. The bizarre hypothesis first gained traction in part of following the unexpected suicide of White House counsel Vince Foster in 1993. It's just like, just so strange how this keeps happening. Body count truthers were also inflamed when Epstein hanged himself. Obviously, that was not a fucking suicide. Come on, he was suicided. Then President Donald Trump famously retweeted a message accusing the Clintons of orchestrating Epstein's death to mask their own alleged dealings in the sex field. But yeah, so the guy that we're talking about here, okay, he suicided himself by what? Shooting himself with a shotgun. Okay. No, I'm not talking about Seth Rich. The Seth Rich one is not as like, the Seth Rich one isn't actually a fucking assassination in the way that people make it seem. Like, I don't think the Seth Rich one was literally a fucking, I don't think the Seth Rich one was an assassination. I think that was like a run and gun type situation. You know what I mean? Yeah, that one just seems like a fucking mugging that went wrong or something like that. This on the other hand, not just Vince Foster, but also this one specifically. Okay. The man shoots himself in the chest with buckshot, tosses the fucking shotgun 30 yards away. They can't even find it at first. Okay? 30 feet away, sorry. And then ties himself up to a fucking tree from the neck. A new set of documents was obtained. The Daily Mail states that the Stoeger 12-gauge shotgun was 30 feet from the body of Mark Middleton when he was found dead on Heifer Ranch in Perryville, Arkansas. Based on an initial report released yesterday, the outlet previously claimed there was no report on the scene. Yeah, I know that they found a gun. Hold on. I'm going to get to it. Spoiler fucking alert, dude. It doesn't matter. The discovery of a gun on the scene doesn't change the reality that, like, this dude, shot himself through the gun? Walk me through the steps here. So this dude shot himself in the chest, threw the gun away, and then fucking, walked over to a tree and hung himself from the neck? A new set of documents obtained by the Daily Mail states that the Stoeger 12-gauge shotgun was 30 feet from the body of Mark Middleton when he was found dead on Heifer Ranch. Based on an initial report released yesterday, the outlet previously claimed there was no weapon on the scene. The additional papers written by Sergeant Keenan Carter also details the length of Middleton went to ensure his suicide attempt was successful by standing on a bench and tying an electrical cord around his neck before finally shooting himself in the chest. It is believed that Mr. Middleton pulled the trigger on the firearm casing to discharge it to strike him in the chest, and then he fell from the bench, causing the extension cord to become tight, cutting off his breathing. Just moments before his death, the HVAC businessman who served as a special advisor to President Bill Clinton, Assistant Chief of Staff Thomas F. Mac McLarty in the early 1990s, reportedly texted his wife that he found the perfect place for a nap in the sun. "You were a great mom and wife, babe," he allegedly wrote to Rhea, with whom he shares 2 young daughters. "Please be happy today to get some sun. It will make you feel better. I love you." Okay, that does sound a little bit more like a suicide. Let's be real. The message concluded with a heart emoji. Middleton's body was discovered that afternoon when ranch employee Ian Peters noticed that his SUV had been parked for several hours. Deputies found a gun case and 3 rounds of buckshot in Middleton's car before they came upon the body. "I ran towards her. I could see officers moving where she was. She was pointing towards the overlook, asking, 'Is that a human? Is that a body?' Carter's report states the officers determined that the gun was flung away from Middleton's body due to the recoil and angle of the ground." Ozzy clearly flung himself from the tree and then threw the shotgun, causing the shotgun to fire, making it the greatest three-pointer of all time. I mean, I don't know. It's not as... It could be suicide. You know? Could. Wait, hold on. Where was Dick Cheney? Shotguns aren't drop safe, so maybe it went off after it hit the ground too. All I'm saying is, easy to send those text messages. Okay? The Daily Mail's initial claims that Middleton's death was self-inflicted despite there being no weapon at the scene immediately ignited suspicion related to the far-right Clinton body count conspiracy theory. The far-fetched idea that Middleton was targeted by the Clintons was amplified by his ties to pedophile Epstein before he left politics in 1995. He also reportedly rode Epstein's infamous Lolita Express jet. A 1996 investigation found that he abuses high-flying contacts to position himself as an international deal maker. Despite a dearth of evidence, self-professed Clinton truthers have also pounced on similar deaths involving Clinton associates, including the 1993 suicide of Deputy White House counsel Vince Foster, Epstein's own hanging death while awaiting trial in 2019. I will never, ever, ever agree that Jeffrey Epstein killed himself. Okay? I'm sorry. That is not what's going on there. If you think that Jeffrey Epstein unironically killed himself, you are being duped. Okay? Sorry. Not even a little itty bitty. No. Okay? No, not even a little bit. Saying Jeffrey Epstein didn't kill himself is easy if you don't talk about who probably did kill him. Yeah, I don't know who did kill him. It could be any number of guys. He was the blackmail guy for Mossad and CIA. I'm pretty sure that, he had an entire list of people that would possibly fucking kill him. Come on. I mean, that list is deep as fuck, dude. His death was bipartisan win. Yeah, exactly. Come on, dude. Come on. I would, even if I saw video footage of Jeffrey Epstein hanging himself, okay, which, by the way, we just mysteriously don't have because the footage just, it went away. It broke right at the time when he fucking killed himself. Even if I saw video footage of him hanging himself, I still probably wouldn't believe it. But, Epstein's death had more than two options: suicide, murder. He could have also been seeking a transfer. He'd done this before. Okay, dude. No, I don't think he fucking ran away secretly and he's still alive. I'm not a believer in that. That's crazy. I think they just, tied a loose end. Okay. Getting back to this issue. I don't even know how the fuck we got here. Oh, because the guys died. The investigators died on a plane crash, but that one is not suspicious. I mean, there are some that are suspicious and some that aren't. I don't think as far as I understand, the investigators that died on the plane crash, not as suspicious.
They have released their initial factual report. Their final work on this will take a while to come out. But having these factual findings is an important step toward being able to move on to the phase of policymaking. And while we will, of course, wait for their analysis and recommendations at the end of the full process to make certain judgments, we will not wait for that process to run its course to continue doing everything that we can to raise the bar on rail safety and to hold people accountable. And that's the other part of what my visit here is about, to make sure that we can assess how to drive the best safety improvements across our national transportation system. And to any national political figure who has decided to get involved in the plight of East Palestine, I have a simple message, which is I need your help, because if you're serious about this, there is more that we could do to prevent more communities from going through this. We've laid out a set of actions that DOT is taking, some of which were already underway, others which we're adding to the agenda. A set of things that the railroad industry needs to do, including better informing communities when hazmat is coming to them, something I've talked to the governor about and strongly agree with him on, and including steps to take care of their workers and their system, and things that we need Congress in order to work on. And again, anyone in Congress who cares about these issues, they are welcome to come to the table and work with us to get things done. So anybody who is interested in that, I'm going to hold them to that. But we're also holding ourselves to the highest standard in terms of the work that we're doing and the work that we're going to continue to do to both respond to this incident and to make sure.
I think being contentious in this regard is better. But he can't do that. He can't do that. You should be like, listen. The railroad companies are not our fucking friends, but he has higher political aspirations, okay? He has aspirations for political office that's higher than the fucking transportation secretary, which is, of course, hilarious considering that, it probably might not happen because, like, he is identified as, like, a main villain in the Democratic Party, okay? But if you have aspirations for higher office, you can't openly be contentious to massive fucking monopolist corporate superpowers like Norfolk Southern, because you don't want those guys as your enemies. You would want those guys as your allies, certainly, to maybe get some super PAC money, but you certainly don't want them as your enemies to, like, dump a shitload into your opposition, right? And for that reason, he's trying to toe this delicate line, where he's like, oh, yeah, Norfolk Southern, please stop going up against our regulation. Stop fighting against our regulation. Why are you doing that? Oh, please. Also, we need everyone's help. If he was an honest person, if he was an earnest person, okay, he would tell you that at the top of the hour, there's a 3-minute ad break, okay? And that you can avoid those ads as long as you subscribe for $5 or for free with a Twitch Prime by connecting your Amazon Prime account to your Twitch account, where you get 1 free Prime subscription a month. Okay? Use it on your favorite streamer. Hopefully that's me. That's what he would say. He would tell you that, honestly. You can also get gifted a sub if you're lucky. But here's the 3-minute ad break now. Now, all jokes aside, if he was an honest person here, he would be more contentious and saying that the government needs to do better. The politicians that come here for lip service need to do better. Okay? And more importantly, we have to disavow the notion that Norfolk Southern is for the people. We have to stop even thinking about this. This is why we're here. We are the government and we are here to help. We are the government and our job is to do this regulation, and that regulation unfortunately fell short of what was necessary in this regard. Okay?
Make sure that we make rail safer for everyone who lives in a community that is close to rail lines, and anybody who is involved in freight rail at all. With that, happy to take a few questions.
There's a lot of trauma in this community, a lot of emotion, and as you noted, a lot of politics too. Now that you've seen the wreckage and spoken to the people, was it a mistake not to come here sooner?
What I tried to do was balance two things: my desire to be involved and engaged and on the ground, which is how I am generally wired to act, and my desire to follow the norm of transportation secretaries, allowing NTSB to really lead the initial stages of the public-facing work. I'll do some thinking about whether I got that balance right. But I think the most important thing is, first of all, making sure that the residents here have what they need. Something that from our piece of the puzzle, DOT, we were working on from day one. And making sure we do something for the future. We can talk about process, and that's perfectly fair. But I don't want people pointing to process as a way to get away from the fundamental questions of rail safety, regulation, and accountability, and whether we're going to make it tougher or whether we're going to allow it to continue being watered down.
I find it funny that the first group blamed by small government libertarian types is government when private business fucks up this hard. That said, Pete dropped the ball here too from an optics perspective to an implementation one. Like I said, every single person involved in this matter fucked up. Literally every single person.